Hi everyone, and welcome to Dave's Brick House. Today we're going to take a look at a fun project that took a little longer to finish than I originally planned. It's something I started over 4 years ago, back in May of 2019, making it one of my earliest MOCs. I made a good amount of progress, and then ran out of both parts and experience, so I put it aside. I was recently doing some cleaning of my Lego room, and I found it again. After looking at it, I realized I was now in a much better position to finish it, so that's what I did. The entire MOC started with this 4x4x6 quarter cylinder piece. I really liked the look of it and figured I could use it for a neat looking window. So I dived into Bricklink Studio and got to work. I went through a few design iterations and got this far before shelving it. You can see that my love of large amounts of glass and windows continues with this MOC. So as usual, I'll take you on a tour around the MOC. Starting at the front, there's a nice big clear front door and window. Who needs privacy, right? There's also a couple of porch lights that are actually lit. I'll talk a bit more about the lighting aspects of this MOC later in the video. And to let in even more light, there are these clerestory windows above the door. Coming back to those quarter cylinder pieces, as I was finishing up the design, I came across a newish piece, at least to me anyway, a 3x3 macaroni tile. Another even newer piece I came across is this 1x2 half round tile. I used both of these to trim out parts of the window assemblies. On the front of the lot is a nice tree. This was done using a neat technique that I learned from an employee at the Lego store way back in 2019. It's built using this small plant flower piece, and the key trick is that I left them on the sprue. That's what gives it a nice full look. These were on the pab wall at the time, so I was able to grab a decent amount of them. Coming around to the left side, there's a planter box, a side door that takes us to the mudroom, and a garage door that actually moves with a small car inside. It's been a long time, but I'm pretty sure the door wasn't my design, but something I found on the internet somewhere. In any case, I think it works very well for this MOC. There's also another lit porch light, along with interior lights for the mudroom and the garage. Upstairs on this side, we have a variety of windows, as I said, a recurring theme for this MOC. On the back side, there's nothing much fancy to see, but we do have these power and utility boxes and some landscaping, along with windows to see the fantastically minimalistic backyard. The second floor is a bit nicer with a deck, a sliding glass door, and more large windows. On the right side, we have this tool shed. I use these small plume feather pieces for the door handles. There's also a full-height chimney for the fireplace, which we'll see momentarily when I do the interior tour, and of course, lots more windows. And coming back around to the front, we have the living room with lots of large windows. So that covers the exterior, but what about the interior, Dave? I hear you asking. This house does actually have at least somewhat of an interior. The front right portion of the house is the living room with this corner sectional, a modern-looking fireplace with glass on 3 sides, and a 2-story ceiling which makes for a nice roomy feel. Behind the living room, we have the kitchen. There's a bar area for people to eat at, along with all the typical kitchen amenities, including lots of counter space, a double-wide sink, an oven/stove, and a refrigerator. Next to the kitchen on the back, we have a small common area, and then we come to a door that takes us to the garage. Continuing on toward the front of the house, we pass another door that leads to the mudroom, and then we come to the main entry area, which has arched openings to the living room and an office. Like the living room, the entry area also has a 2-story ceiling and stairs that lead to the second floor. The front left of the second floor is the bedroom, with no furniture. I guess we'll have to call it move-in ready. Another seating area, and then a bonus area which has access to the back deck, along with a balcony that overlooks the living room. A couple of details worth mentioning. In this MOC, I didn't set any of the windows back, but I did often use door rail pieces below them to at least make the walls look a bit less flat. I also have one sideways built window section in this MOC. I'm planning to do a tutorial about building sideways with windows here before too long. This technique allows you to get windows with aspect ratios that aren't available using windows installed in the traditional way. Another point is that initially, the sides of the angled portion of the roof were flat. I sent photos of the finished MOC to a friend, and he commented about the flatness, but didn't have any immediate suggestions for how to make it better. I thought about it for a bit, and realized that many roofs like this have gable vents on both ends to get some airflows so it doesn't get ridiculously hot in the attic. A few minutes later, I added them, and it does indeed help with the flat wall issue. And the last thing I want to mention is the lighting. When I first built this, I had added a few brick loot lights. When I recently finished it, I changed all the lights to brick stuff. The wires on those lights are very thin, which really helped with wire management. And the Pico LEDs are small enough to fit inside a brick. That's how I did the porch lights. Additionally, I made my first use of their vertical connectors to get power to the second floor and the roof. As a side note, this building is modular, but only kind of, due to the two-story portion on the front right. Even with that though, the vertical connectors were very helpful. So that wraps up a look at this House MOC. It was great to finally get it finished, even if it took a long time. I hope you enjoyed seeing it. Now that it's finished, I get to pick another project from my long list of video ideas. So I'll get going on that now. And while you wait for me, go build something that makes you smile.